You can't say hateful, vile things like that.
Charlie Kirk was shot and murdered. And let me be clear.
Funeral yesterday. I didn't watch it. I did see they were live streaming it.
Difficult week this week in the White House and in Washington because
the sudden death of conservative firebrand Charlie Kirk has ignited sharp divisions across America. Black and white leaders are voicing starkly different perspectives, some hailing his influence, others questioning his legacy. Today, we examine how Kirk's passing is reshaping political alliances, race, dynamics, and the future of conservative movements. The breaking news: death of Charlie Kirk. The announcement of Charlie Kirk's death spread quickly across major news outlets and social platforms, sparking immediate debate about his role in modern politics. Kirk, widely known as the founder of Turning Point USA, was a central voice for conservative youth activism. His sudden passing created uncertainty not only within the organization he built, but also across broader political movements that relied on his influence. Early coverage highlighted his strong presence on college campuses, his outspoken views on cultural issues, and his ability to attract young supporters to the conservative cause. Within hours, tributes and criticism began pouring in from leaders across the political spectrum, showing the depth of division surrounding his legacy. The breaking story marked the beginning of a larger conversation. What does Kirk's death mean for the future of American conservatism? Immediate reactions across political circles. In the hours following the announcement, political circles responded in sharply different ways. Conservative leaders described Kirk as a committed organizer who gave a platform to young activists at a time when the movement needed energy. Many praised his skill in connecting grassroots supporters with national debates. At the same time, critics within politics noted his controversial statements and questioned whether his tactics deepened polarization. Among Democrats, the news was framed less as a personal tragedy and more as a turning point for conservative groups. Meanwhile, Republican lawmakers offered condolences while acknowledging the challenges ahead for Turning Point USA. Social media became a battlefield of tributes, attacks, and speculation, reflecting the deep political climate Kirk operated in. The immediate reaction set the tone for broader debates on leadership, legacy, and the struggle for influence in America's divided political system. Black conservative leaders' perspectives. Black conservative leaders reacted to Kirk's passing with a mix of respect and caution. Some praised him for giving black voices space in a largely white conservative movement, noting his willingness to include speakers from different backgrounds at Turning Point USA events. Others pointed out that his style often leaned heavily on issues that did not fully address the concerns of black communities, such as economic inequality or policing reform. A few leaders expressed that his work provided visibility, but not always genuine influence for black conservatives in shaping party agendas. For them, the conversation turned to whether Erica Kirk and future leaders would adopt a broader, more inclusive approach. These perspectives show how Kirk's death is also a moment of reflection for black conservatives, who now weigh both his impact and the gaps he left unaddressed. White conservative leaders' perspectives. Reactions from white conservative leaders highlighted Kirk's role as a strategist who helped shape a new generation of activists. Many emphasized his ability to translate conservative values into language that resonated with young audiences, particularly on college campuses. Leaders from established organizations described him as a tireless promoter of traditional principles, linking faith, free markets, and patriotism. Some acknowledged that his aggressive style sometimes alienated moderates, but they stressed his success in growing membership and raising awareness for cultural battles. Several pointed to his death as a major loss for conservative outreach, warning that the absence of his leadership could weaken youth engagement. These voices reveal a strong sense of both admiration and concern, with many white conservative leaders rallying around the idea of preserving Kirk's vision for Turning Point USA in the years ahead. Criticism from progressive and liberal voices. From the progressive and liberal side, Kirk's death prompted a very different reaction. Critics argued that his work through Turning Point USA spread divisive narratives on race, immigration, and culture. They pointed to his debates on campus policies and his strong opposition to progressive reforms as examples of fueling polarization among young voters. Liberal commentators highlighted that while conservatives saw him as a leader, many students and activists viewed him as someone who deepened mistrust between left and right. Some also linked his methods to the broader trend of aggressive culture wars that have defined U.S. politics in recent years. Rather than tributes, liberal voices used the moment to call for reflection on how political organizing should be conducted in a way that builds dialogue instead of conflict. Their perspective frames Kirk's death as a chance to rethink political engagement. Turning Point USA's future without Kirk. The passing of Charlie Kirk leaves Turning Point USA at a critical crossroads. The organization, which relied heavily on his leadership style, must now decide whether to maintain the same approach or adjust to a new reality. Erica Kirk, his wife, has been mentioned as a possible figure to step forward, though questions remain about whether she will lead or whether new leadership will emerge. Some insiders see this as an opportunity to expand the group's focus beyond cultural debates into policy development and broader community outreach. Others worry that without Kirk's charisma, the organization may struggle to keep the same level of engagement among young conservatives. The group's financial backers and campus organizers are also watching closely since leadership changes could affect future funding and national visibility. TPUSA's direction now stands as a key test of its survival. Charlie Kirk's death leaves a movement searching for direction and a nation debating his legacy. As his leaders clash over his impact, one question remains: how will history remember him? For now, the divide continues, shaping the next chapter of America's political and cultural landscape. Thanks for watching.